Alright. So, welcome to Kerbal Space Program 1.8.1. If you just watched the first part of this video, you saw us in detail build a rocket that configures itself to Kerbalism. We're also reviewing the Kerbalism mod. As you can see, I'm about to run out of gas. I'm at 1,500 feet, and I have to get ready for the stage change here, which we're not very high up, so this could prove to be problematic. Good. It seems like I didn't do any tip or rock, and of course I'd want to get up into the higher atmosphere before we had any problems with that. It looks like I'm not pushing too much weight against the G-force, and I'm proceeding to my 45-degree mark where I want to tilt at 45 degrees. So it happened at 25,000. I'm well into 1,000 meters per second, so this is almost glorious. Everything's going to happen faster. So I'm already to 62, which brings me to 10. Alright, this is all happening much faster than when we had the other rockets, so I also like to be on 89 as preferred to 91, and it can bounce between 90 and 89. I'm at 69,000. 70,000 is our goal. 70,000 meters, we're going to make it. We're not there yet, but our projected apoapsis says we are. We are 1 minute and 16 seconds from that point, and our speed goal is 2250 for the first check. Our actual goal will probably be somewhere near 2290. We know all these things in advance because as pilots we need this information to stay ahead of the game. Everything's happening fast. Our speed's starting to burn off, and that's because we have turned, that's our vertical upward speed, and we're burning off at in a horizontal direction, as you can see. So of course this would lower on its own, but we're getting closer to our 2250, and I'm pulling the gas way down. I want a slow march because I'm 2 minutes and 54 seconds out. We're already 100,000 into it. What we should probably do is just stop and wait for that. Wait, let's don't. Let's just turn off our gas right now, and I'm going to show you how to correct that. Wait. Okay. If I point down, I will bring that 98 periapsis down, and apoapsis down, and my periapsis should go up. Alright, we have 2 minutes and 17 seconds to execute this. And of course we're going to change that number when we do what we're about to do. So watch the 98 number. Alright, I'm not sure what happened here. I have gas, but my skipper engine stopped. Oh, I have an official failure. Alright, so let's go ahead and eject that and get to our next gas tank. Alright, you can see the 90, 93. Oh, why is it coming down? Alright, I just had a malfunction. I guess this is part of Kerbalism. So what I'm going to do is revert flight to vehicle assembly. And I'm going to examine some things like engine quality. I want high. I had a malfunction and a failure. So it looks like they can burn that long before failure. That's part of Kerbalism, is you need quality, I guess. Hey, while we're here, let's change the capsule to white, if you don't mind. And we'll just save. And I could actually do this rocket different. I threw together a quick rocket. I think to be smart, I would put a small engine on that with a Terrier. And then maybe we should just do that now. So I'll just take that off. Grab me a smallest little engine. Like that. Make it wide. No, maybe two of those. Just because. We had enough weight. And I go like that. Reset. Alright, so hopefully I just addressed a problem. I just saw a problem. I tried to put this on without a decoupler. That would have been an explosive. And anyway, if it's all set up right, you should just be able to drop all those right in like that. Save and launch. So that was such a perfect launch. Everything was going very well to plan. So we're just going to go again. Anyway, we're going to try to get an 090 trajectory. This is just a rocket test of our Kerbalism experiment, but I should have put a. I'm going to revert back to Space Hangar and put a, docking port, because we're supposed to be running a docking mission or a rescue mission, and this one can do neither. This is just a rocket efficiency test primarily. Which we're allowed to test our rockets, and that's why I like that revert flight mode. You notice we have our stabilizers here, and that's keeping these rockets from bouncing back and forth. You should experience that if you play enough Kerbal. Okay, it pulled a little in that direction, but not a lot. And what I'm trying to do is get to 45, and then I'm going to pull it to 45. And what I'm trying to do is get into the thicker air, which is right now. And then if I want to, I can start early. And starting early, sometimes starting early just gets you to the 22 a little differently. Like I'm hammering the gas now, and I'm already at 50. Remember, at 60 I go down to 10 anyway. Look how I'm getting. I'm almost there already. So that was good to get ahead of the game on this one, and maybe cut my parameters in half, because now I have a lot of extra power. So I don't want to overshoot my 70 so much that it's like embarrassing to me, like it was on that last rocket test. So here we are at 59, and I'm keeping at about 5-degree glide slope pitch azimuth up. We've got pretty good upward, a lot better than the last one, and we're closing in on 70, and this number's not astronomical, but it looks like it's growing. So I'm going to cut my throttle speed back just a little bit so it starts to decrease. And we've already hit 68, so we should make 70 no problem, just by naturally going in that direction. I can slow that down by, if I want to hit 70 closer, I can point it down a little bit, trim that back. So I'm going to cut my gas back again because I can see this number growing. I want to have it progress back to So the whole idea is this hits 0. This should hit 22. I had to cut it back again. I keep seeing it grow. As this hits 2275, I just made that number up. It's between 2250 and 2300. 2250 is what I call the first check. And then, of course, somewhere between 70 and 80 there. And 70, above 70, and above 70. Apoapsis, apogee, periapsis, perigee. Okay, we would have had a beautiful launch that last time, by the way, had it not been for the engine malfunctions. And as you can see, we're approaching our 2250. We're growing in speed again, so I'm slowing me way down now. Look how low that throttle is. And I'm even going to put it back on 0. Now, the nice thing, well, the bad thing is we're going to leave space junk. And we're almost out of gas. We would be better off to eject it before this gets above 35, and that way we'll send our junk back to the planet. You can see we're at 73,000, and we're not really progressing too fast on that. This number's coming up at a pretty good rate, even with this slow speed. And the closer we get, the faster this should climb. See how we're approaching 0? Let's look at that on the map. You can see we're below the surface, but it's growing. And then eventually, it's gonna, our projection will just lift. Now I'm safe. I'm 42 seconds away. I'm trying to stay below it, between 70 and 80. 75 is going to be a nice hit. I'm coming up on 0 now. So you can see when it hits 0, bam, we're starting to rise. And we're also closing in on the 2270. And this number's locked, so everything's good. So basically what I'm going to do is just take my time, approach the apoapsis, try to raise this to 75. Okay, here's a good time to stop right here. Let me show you why. We got all this gas and we don't want to leave space junk, so let's just send this back to the planet, okay? Now we just have this. Let's go back here. Now what we just let go is going to come back to 40,000. That'll swallow it up and burn up into the atmosphere. So now I'm getting close. Oh, 5 seconds too. Let's go ahead and just make that 70. 5. All right, close enough. So we're at 74430 and 74560. All right. It looks like we just reached a concentric orbit. I apologize. I had to pause. I'm not even sure where I'm at in this flight. So my train of thought was interrupted. I had to pause and deal with the personal issue. And now here I am. I'm going to evaluate my situation. Well, just needed a little bit of gas for adjustment. That's right. We just let this fuel tank go. And you can see it's on a different trajectory where it drops down to 32. I think Kerbal's got it set up. It's really weird because objects that aren't in player control sometimes get into gravity and go down from 32 back to 74 without orbital decay, which, if anyone knows, if it's me and I'm in the capsule and I'm controlling it as a player, it decays. But I believe they've got it set up so anything that dips down below 35,000 feet will just be consumed in, it's a setting we started with, persistent objects and debris. And we put limitations on that so we wouldn't have too many. In the early days of 32-bit, we didn't want a bunch of space junk because it would bog you down. Ships of a certain size would bog you down. All kinds of stuff would bog you down. And what I mean by that is frame rate drop, lags. We just have to let time. And we just needed to go to 64 so bad and build it. And then, of course, what we really needed was building it from the ground up, and that's where KSP2 comes in. Now, I've been on the surface of the moon with the new graphic upgrades. It's shaky. It's unstable. I can barely stand it. They need to fix it in an update. I don't think I'm the only one experiencing it, but it's probably the reason they couldn't just turn KSP1 into KSP2 with major updates and upgrades. There's a reason they had to build from the ground up. And what we want is multiplayer colonies, and I hope they got who's that guy that made Rastropop's monitor? Augustus. I can't remember his name. Anyway, Rastropop's monitor. That's his mod handle. He just disappeared off the face of the planet. And what I hope is that KSP2 has kidnapped him, and they're having this modder help them design the interior of the spacecraft so we can flip switches and buttons from the IVA, intravehicular activity. All right, so going back to my mark, we're about 13 minutes from the end of the second video. So we actually caused space debris to not be created, and this is basically our re-entry engine. So if we do everything with this and then send it away, then we can use this engine to actually land. Like I said, this is a rocket test more than anything, and maybe this is the one that's going to take us to the moon, or put us in this beautiful polar orbit. Anyway, I consider this test a success. So what I'm basically going to do is revert time by reverting the flight back to the vehicle assembly launch. All right, and now we can consider, of course, if we were playing DOA or hardcore, we would have to run the test, spend the money. We couldn't just, oh yeah, it works good. Now we can incorporate it into missions, but a little sneak preview. But I kind of like it, and we could maybe do some things like, put another capsule on top of that capsule. It looked like it had enough power and enough oomph that it could handle an upgrade like this. Or we could put that up. Put this on there instead. Let's try that one. I like that one because this is a really nice viewport. And you can actually look around when you're in that. Of course you can there too, but this one's like almost spectacular. We would have to shield it for radiation. Oh, it looks like they're all ready for longevity space planes, but no need to do it much more than the other one at 2.0. Let's just do that 2.9. We're gonna, I guess, do I have a quality standard? Anyway, I think I'm going to keep this and save it, and that's going to be on Mission Rocket. We can rescue with that. That's actually cool because this will be our where we can rescue from and view from the cockpit to do a rescue. So anyway, I'm going to save this video. Call it a success. Little bit exposure to Kerbalism, and continuing on with our career at the next level. incorporating mods into a stock game. And now we have this beautiful science vessel. We did see the rocket failure, so that brings up a good point. Had I had an engineer on board, sometimes he can repair those. It's like kind of like collecting science. We really don't analyze the data we collect. We just call it data. Same with the engineer. He'll run up and he'll analyze the problem, and it'll say repair or don't repair. He'll be the only one that can do it. So I like Kerbalism. It gives the engineer purpose other than packing parachutes. And also breaking ground has given the scientist and the engineer some what we call more relevance. Now the engineer really becomes relevant when you get into mining operations. But in reality, he's one of the most relevant members of the team. I guess all team members are relevant, but if any of them are expendable, it's probably the pilot and the scientist more than the engineer. All right, thanks for Kerbal Space Program 1.8.1.